should be speaking more about that, though, because we're so concerned about cars and about the miles per gallon, et cetera, and so there are going to be rules about that. Why not start working on this? Furthermore, it's not even healthy.
Yeah, no. There's a great project in Pittsburgh going on right now where there's these energy service companies which promise to give you a buildings that have no energy requirements. They will pay anything above and beyond. You just have to, they do the corrections, they make your building better. The thing that goes to your point is the thermostats. Each person, this is being done in a public housing project, a huge public housing project in Pittsburgh right now as we speak. And the conditions for them to make these promises, the energy service company for this housing project, is that they have control over the thermostat.
Yeah.
And you cannot, the people in it, I don't know how they have it set on the low side and on the high side. And it's kept at 70, I think it's between 72 to 75 all year round. And without those controls, exactly what you said, has been saying, happens. I know from a builder down in Oklahoma, he built one of these zero energy homes, or he thought he had. And he was working with the Department of Energy on this, and they had done a really good job on it. At least everybody thought they did. And they said that for the first year, we're not going to sell the house because we wanted to see if it really works. You need about a year's worth of data. And so then they rented it out to somebody. And I don't know if you know the weather in Oklahoma, it's a little different than ours here, but they got tenants who decided they wanted 70 degrees 12 months around the year. So needless to say, certainly in the summer months, when it gets pretty hot down there in Oklahoma, and they wanted 70 degrees 24 hours a day, the energy bill shot up, and the house never made its goal. So unless you have regulations.
Couldn't they start?
Yeah.
Can I broaden this conversation a little bit?
Yeah.
The biggest problem of all of this that we're going to have is when Obama presents his plan, energy plan, to Congress. And if the congressmen don't have the support of the public, it's never going to get through. And I think action, our action in that regard, is going to be more meaningful in the long run, in addition to what we can do as individuals. But as a group, if we really want to create this organization that Ben, I think, told us about, I think we have to have higher, more inclusive types
goals,
of ideas that we really can take action on.
That's
that
why
we're going to have meaning in the long run, and action to move our Congress in this direction probably is the single most important element.
I think also, I don't think Obama has his goals set in concrete yet. I think one of the things that I would like to do is to make a deep connection with this group, with the Obama people, so that we can funnel what our concerns are. The paper I gave out to everybody, you all have it, about coal. I am not a member of the Sierra Club. I am doing this because I believe in precisely what the paper you saw asks for, which is to make sure that Obama prevents any new coal-fired power plants and gradually phases out the old ones. According to Jim Hansen, if we could do that, we would take care of 80% of the climate crisis. Coal is a very big target, simply because it's I think 51% of our energy use, and yeah.
No, it's higher than that.
It's higher than that?
Yeah,
I don't know where I got the 51%. Then it's some
67.
Okay, all right. So
which raises the question: what are you going to make your electricity from?
Oh, it's the beauty of all of this, the whole environmental thing. It really comes down to people, because the technology is here.
That's right.
And it's just there's no will for it, and people don't want to change, and we can do.
It's not.
I don't believe that.
That's not
I don't
true.
know that what it is.
there.
Yeah.
And I think they're being told by like, oh, we don't have the science yet, we don't have that's what part of the spin.
No, I
No,
think they
no.
need one.
Yeah.
I think they need education and they need
I think that's what it
leadership.
is education.
It's leadership, you know, that we've lacked for 8 years
Yeah.
on this subject. With leadership, which we're going to have with Obama, he's definitely dedicated in this regard. It's up to all of us, not only to educate ourselves, but educate people around us. But I still go back, nothing is more important than convincing the Congress to back it.
Well, he needs education himself. He has mentioned time and time in the campaign about clean coal, which it is a fiction, it's a myth, it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
And I could talk on and on. Once in a while he mentions geothermal, but I have almost like kept track. But more times than he will, always in speech he will say solar, fine, wind, Then he says clean coal, and then he might time to time say geothermal, which is the perfect technology.
Did you hear it?
Nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm a physicist.
Okay.
Maybe you are too.
No, I'm not.
My point is that you've got to be careful about any kind of environmental change. There's interactions with everything. Even something as simple as wind causes effects in the environment.
Oh, absolutely.
Europe is seeing a lot of changes in flight patterns for birds and all such as that. Geothermal actually is a very dirty product when you have to bring up the geothermal heat and all the fumes that come up with it. I've written papers on it, so it's a matter of looking at everything. There's nothing perfect. Something called a second law of thermodynamics says you got to pay for what you get. So you've got to be careful. Not saying anything is right or anything's wrong. You have to be careful of looking at it. The point is education. I think you made the point. Education, you have to look at all the various interactions with the environment, not just simply favor one aspect, because you can't do a favoring aspect. You have to balance. That's the only point I would say.
Not only that, you have to be politically realistic. He, I think, mentions clean coal because he knows he's got to say something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, which is the coal industry is very powerful, and if he doesn't stay in that mode that we're going to try to do something, that he's going to have such a force against him in other ways. So you have to really balance the political.
He had to get elected.
Speaking of,
He had to get elected.
Speaking of
Yeah,
balance.
he's gotten elected, but I mean, you have to get it through the Congress.
No, I mean,
Well,
he
that's
was
why he said that.
he was saying it to get elected. That's my
elected.
point.
And he
Oh,
had
yeah,
not-
originally, yeah.
I've not heard him speak about clean coal since he's been.
He will, I'm sure he will.
And FDR said when he was faced with the Depression and people came to him with solutions that he thought were good solutions, he said, these are great ideas. Now go out and make me do it. And that's what we're here for. We want to make sure that Obama has, in the first 40 days, the right plan for creating change in the environmental situation. We want to make sure that we phase out coal. There are other ways of dealing with this too. That's why I would like this group to stay connected with the Obama group, because we have a tremendous opportunity now to impact Obama. I think that's the first place we want to impact. We also need to be in contact with our representatives in Congress and to say the same things to them that we're saying to Obama. So my hope is to get us all organized into that. I'm founding with some other small group of other people an organization called Green Brigade. You don't have to join if you don't want to, but I'll send you information about it as soon as we have a website, which we're in the process of doing. Could we go around the room and just say very, very briefly, I mean, we've started a conversation which is tremendously interesting, and you sound like a well of information. I would love to keep you in that, in that role for us. But let's go around and see who we are very briefly. That's who I am, very briefly. That's who you are.